Structural heart disease refers to a defect in the heart's valves, walls, or chambers that keeps the heart from pumping blood properly. Valve or structural heart problems may be present at birth or develop over time. Your risk increases if you have high blood pressure, plaque buildup, history of heart attack, take certain medications, or have certain heart infections. The Structural Heart Program at CIS and Terrebonne General provides innovative solutions and devices with the latest technology to bring the best possible outcomes for patients. Learn more at cardio.com.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. And we're really glad to have with us Mike Efferson. Mike, thank you so much for joining us here. Meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Very glad you're on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me today.
We appreciate it. Listen, it's always good to talk to someone who is actually a real meteorologist, because I got to tell you, there are thousands and thousands of them down here in South Louisiana wanting to tell us what they think or know about what happened. Tell us a little bit about this unprecedented event that took place last week and maybe some of the why we got so much snow.
Yeah, so I call this a generational event. That means something that you and I and our kids may never see again in our lifetime. It was quite incredible, the amount of snowfall we had. And it was one of a couple different scenarios or weather situations that are setups that we get that do produce snow. And this particular one is when you get one cold front, another reinforcing cold front, and then a surface low to run from west east across the northern Gulf of Mexico and bring snow to our area. The most recent largest snowfall for our forecast area, southeast Louisiana, was 2017, and I'm pretty sure that was a really similar setup.
Right. And then that cloud cover that took place for about 24 hours really allowed that moisture to kind of stay low enough, and that we just got snowfall for a good 12 to 14 hours over the course of that day.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this event very unique, is that how long the moisture stayed in, because so many times it dries out. We got really dry air coming in, but there was just so much moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico that stayed from Houston all the way over to Panama City. And you look at the graphics you got right there, the amount of snowfall. I mean, it's just unbelievable to have the amounts and to have it across that far of an area. Like that's one thing that also makes this event different, is that sure, we've had snow events for 5, 6, 7 inches, but usually it's North Shore, Louisiana, North Shore of like Pontchartrain, maybe Baton Rouge. But to have it across all of the area from Point Coupee Parish down to Grand Isle, I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Right. And you see here, it's just some beautiful shots of our drone coverage here that we have here in Houma and Terrebonne Parish. And, lots of people were trying to figure out exactly how much snow they got. But there's some professional ways of measuring that. Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, it starts with a piece of wood, good hard flat surface. We paint it white because it doesn't absorb the heat. And so you want to have that thing placed out usually a day or so before, and it gives you a good hard surface. And it's going to be, try to put it as far away from anything that could affect where the snow will be blowing, meaning like you don't want it right next to your house or right next to your fence. So, you're limited by the size of your yard, but that's going to give you your most accurate for your location. And also, we know when a wind blows, it'll blow it up against the fence. So that's why you try to get somewhere in the center, front yard, backyard, whatever works for your location.
Yeah, really cool. And again, Jason showing that map of some of the snowfall and the snowfall totals that we got. And so rather remarkable. And then we had this, we called it Snow Day on Tuesday. We called it Ice Day on Wednesday. Because interestingly enough, as the snow even melted some, because it didn't melt very much, melted some, that water then refreezed. And so we got to see quite a bit of ice on that Wednesday early evening and then all night on Wednesday.
Oh my gosh, it just took so long for the ice to melt completely off the roads and make them safe. That was unbelievable what this event was. It was Friday? I drove into New Orleans from the north on Friday, and I still had to go down Highway 90. And I just could not believe how long it stayed. And that's what's challenging about, events of this magnitude is trying to forecast, something you never forecasted before. I have no clue how long it takes a foot of snow to melt. We try our best, and we were pretty confident it would last into Thursday, but obviously even some locations it went into Friday.
Well, I can tell you this, interestingly enough, in our area, I was very thankful for Troop C and our state troopers, all of law enforcement, DOTD, and the job that they did. But I live off of Highway 311. Highway 311 had gotten a lot of accumulated snow. On Highway 311, they moved a lot of the snow on a corner, and it was some 1.5 feet, 2 feet high and probably about a foot wide. On Monday, the snow was still there. I was thinking, did I not see that right? But it was all this snow together because, and I know it got way above freezing, but it didn't get above to get all of that snow. A lot of us had snow-capped roofs or snow or ice on the side that was very well protected for a long time after the freeze on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you say that. My wife was down in New Orleans yesterday, and she sent me a picture from the parking garage, and I still had a 2-foot-high block of ice from the same situation. I'm like, geez, that's just unbelievable. Right. And like I said, I don't know if anybody ever see that again in the next 50 years,
Yeah, it was very exciting, I can tell. The one thing that was most interesting to me is that finally I could get my family to start to agree with the meteorologist. Sometime middle of the day on Tuesday, I called my father-in-law. I said, do you believe them now? Literally, do you believe them now? And so again, some other shots. Go ahead, Mike.
I would say it was challenging from a forecasting perspective, say, to ignore it, because there's so many times where models will show stuff a week and a half out, and they're showing potential for snow, and as we get closer into the event, all of a sudden there's not as much moisture, it kind of dries out. But this one, that wasn't the case, and we finally just bid onto it just like everybody else, and you saw all the products come out, the Winter Storm Watch, Winter Storm Warning. That's probably the furthest out we've issued those products, and I'd venture to say it was our office's best winter forecast in history. It was absolutely incredible having snow in the forecast 7 days out. And I know the TV meteorologists around the area were talking about it longer than that.
Right. Well, kudos to you guys. Great job. Thank you for the clarification and the understanding and being part of this unprecedented winter event that had accumulation of snow in so many different areas, and in a lot of areas, double-digit inches of snow. Mike, we appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. A whole lot more right here on Bayou Time.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.